Members of the media, we have Tucker County High School head coach Daniel Helmick, players Caden Arnold, Ethan Cummings, and Samuel Marks. Coach, a few comments on the game, then we'll field questions.
That was a typical Tucker game early. It was a fist fight with him every time we play. I mean, how we won them. We did. If you told me we'd held them in the 50s, the way we've been scoring out of them, we had a good chance. We just couldn't get a shot to fall. Some of that was on us. A lot of that was on Tug. You know what I mean? They make it tough to get into anything. That's why you got to be really tough and just keep trying to run through stuff, and eventually you'll get something if you don't throw it to them. And I mean, 13 turnovers is too many, but I would have lived with that before we started the game too. Proud of my guys. They battled. We just couldn't get nothing to fall. We missed some shots you got to make in games like this. It could have been different. They're actually in the second half, the first two possessions, we missed a wide open three, went in and out, and then we had a couple bunnies. You got to make them, and we just didn't today. But credit to all of them. They're well coached, and thank God I ain't got to coach against Braden Ferris ever again.
Question.
Coach, 17-0 for points off turnovers. They had 17.
Can't do it.
Like you said, only 13 turnovers. Not like it was a bunch of turnovers. How are they able to create those opportunities into points?
They just don't quit. I mean, even if you beat them in the full, which we did a pretty good job, we have all year. Both times we played this, they turn us over in the half. They're in the lanes, they're in the gaps. You got to cut. It's just constant pressure. They do a heck of a job. They play hard. I mean, we knew that. Like I said, 13, I would have took that before the game started. But again, all credit to them. They get after you, and they don't quit. They make it. They speed you up. They make it real. I mean, they're relentless, and they do a heck of a job with that.
How much do emotions, having faced Tug Valley so often over the last few years, and even up here for 4 straight times?
Yeah.
How much do emotions come into play, and how do you rein that in?
Oh, it's big. It's big. I mean, we try to tell our kids it's going to be crazy early, but just keep plugging. It'll turn into a real basketball game. You know what I mean? I thought early they got out, and then we settled in a little bit. I mean, it's just you got to talk. I mean, that's why you play. Just tough schedules and stuff for games like this, so you don't freak out. You know what I mean? So, again, I mean, well, like the first half, I thought we had some good looks. You just got to make games like this. But again, all credit to Tug. They're really good. Braden Ferris is a stud. He's tough. There was a couple shots. It's tough.
Did the emotions come into play in this game? Did you feel like they did for your team?
Maybe a little start, yeah. Early, maybe we were really loose, but this group is loose. But you could tell at the beginning, I thought we were a little, relax. That's why I kept telling them it'll turn into a basketball game. Relax, and we did. We settled in again, and a big part of the game I thought was that we were down 7.5. The first two possessions, we actually did run through a couple things and got a couple really nice looks. That goes in, that three goes in, he round in, it's forward. You know what I mean? You got to make them. But again, all credit to Tug. All credit to Tug Valley. They do a heck of a job, and they're going to be tough whoever plays them.
Kate, you had 17 points, pretty good offensive night for you. How allowed you to have such a great offensive night, and what's it like to play in this environment against a team you're familiar with?
I mean, I love it. We hate them. As much as I say it, we hate them. Like, it's a big game. A couple of my points came late, but it's Carson Newsom's guarding me. It's hard to score. He's locked down.
Yeah, he does a great job.
So I probably only had like 11 till that little stretch at the end. But
What's it like playing in this environment against a team like Tug? Like Kate mentioned, maybe it's a hate rivalry. Like, what's this game like for you guys?
Yeah, it sucks to lose, but I mean, overall, it's fun playing in an environment like this. The energy's really high, and it's great basketball.
Yeah, I mean, it's Tug Valley, and we've been around them for a while now, and it sucks to lose, but did what we had, did what all we could do, I guess.
Caden, to come back to you, you said you guys hate them. Does that come more or less from a place of respect, or is that
like more respect. I mean, we lost 2 state titles to them. Just lost semifinal to them. I mean, it's like a rivalry now.
Who would have thought a rivalry would? I mean, they're 4 hours away from us. Usually, that's crazy.
Y'all got them scheduled again next year?
Yes.
Coach, what does a guy like Ferris do to stress your defense? I'm going into the game, probably thinking about him.
The big thing is with him is, I mean, you want to guard him with all. We try to stress, hey, we got a guy on him, but all 5 of us are guarding him. But what he does a heck of a job of is he makes his team better. When he drives, if you make wrong run rotation, whatever, he always finds the guy. Like the end of the half or end of the first half, right? We didn't draw up like we were supposed to. He stopped. He made the right basketball play. That's what he does. He makes his team better. So it's tough. It's do you want to overhelp and try to stop him, or do you want to, just you pick your poison with him. And it's been fun to watch him grow. I remember we played him here. We beat him when he was a freshman, and he's got so much better. My goodness. He's turned into a heck of a player. But again, like I said, it's just pick your poison. Do you help or do you try to – because if you help, he's going to find the right guy. You know what I mean? He always does. He makes the right basketball play. He's a heck of a player. He made a tough shot there. Then I think the third quarter. Heck, we couldn't guard him any better. He made a tough jumper. I mean, that's what he does. And that's what players do. We got a couple here. If they work, we'll get there.
Coach, another successful season, for you guys overall. Just talk about how can you sustain this and try to get back up here and get back to
Yeah, we'll give them some little bit off here, and then we'll get started with our off-season stuff, lifting and trying to get faster and stronger and start working our butts off. We got a couple kids here that, they'll lead the way. These two will lead the way. They're going to play 20. They live it. So but just work our butts off. We tell the kids all the time. When they first get that, everybody games now. Everybody games. You get that new Xbox game, you're not good at it the first day or the first hour. When you play it 36 hours straight, I got better. It's the same way with this game. You just got to work your butt off. And we will.
Any further questions? All right, thank you.
All right, thank you, guys.
Gentlemen, you always take your cards and that's the rest of the team.
All right,
You want up here, Brooks? I just want to go. Sure. Sit right there. Here, sit right there. Here. Sit there.
All right, members of the media, we have Tuck Valley High School head coach Rabbit Thompson, players Braden Ferris, Zayd Rash, Cameron Sloan. Coach, a few comments on the game, then we'll field questions.
Yeah. Thank you, Lord, my Savior, Jesus Christ. I'm so happy for these kids here. We are advancing to the championship game on Saturday. I'm so happy for my seniors. Jace Hale, Jace is back here. Braden, Carson, and Bryson, where I don't even see him back there. I'm so happy for my seniors. this, you know, I don't know if you all know it or not. This is a goal that we set. I also want to extend my well wishes to Tucker County. Guys, they fought hard. They played hard. They're very well coached. We've seen them several times. I know those kids and that coach there in that community, their heart is broken. I feel for them. But I'm sure next year we'll see Tucker again because we've seen him like about 12 times in a row, it seems like. So I'm sure they'll be back. For the basketball game just in itself, I thought we executed 2 or 3 phases very good. I thought, first of all, defensively, I thought we was very, very good. I thought our 4 corners right there in the fourth quarter was very, very good. Now, they kind of beat us on the boards there a little bit, like, so many times before. We've been, because we're so small and puny and little, but, our kids fight. And, again, I'm so happy to be playing either Greater Beckley or East Hardy on Saturday.
Question.
Coach, points off turnover, 17-0. Y'all had 17.
Yeah.
They didn't get any. Y'all only
Yeah.
turned it over 5 times.
5 times, yeah.
Talk about
Yeah.
being able to take care of the
Yeah.
ball.
Yes.
When they turned it over, you
Yeah.
took advantage of it.
Yeah, I've got the best guards in the state. And we all know about this one. But Carson Newsom handles that ball. Ain't nobody taking that ball from him. Zayd Rash handles the ball very good. But also Preston May, Bryson is so smart. He handles the ball. And Cam Sloan, they all made good decisions, I thought, in their ball handling. I think we're very unselfish. And when you hit the open man, and take care of the basketball, that leads to good possessions offensively, and that kind of makes up for that rebounding that we get hammered on about every night.
And then you turned them over 13 times.
Yes.
But Birdie in the 17
Yeah,
points.
yeah. I think the score was maybe 23-20, maybe at the end of the first quarter. I thought our kids they come out better today than we did against Ritchie County. Got some steals, got some turnovers, had a lead. Then it just it continues to multiply, to grow. You get a steal, then it's a deflection. Kids are diving on the floor, another steal, another deflection, a turnover, and it leads to transition. It leads to layups. Easy baskets for us.
Braden, 2,000 points in your career now. Talk a bit about what that means. You're only the second player at Tug Valley ever to reach that milestone, and just a handful, in West Virginia high school history have actually really achieved that. Just talk a bit about that.
Well, it's definitely a blessing. I want to give thanks to God. I want to give thanks to these guys because, if it wasn't for our coaches and the players, there's no way I would have got it. The players is always keeping my head up even when I'm down. Coaches always get me plays to get open, so I just have to give thanks to them.
Coach, your thoughts on that?
Yeah. 2,000 points. There's some people, I don't know who in the state of West Virginia that scored 2,000 points, but I'd like to know who has scored 2,000 points in a state semifinal game. That's a big deal. It ain't some team out there during a regular season. He's getting it when it counts. Also, let me give you a little stat on Braden and Carson and Jace and Bryson. My senior class, they are 9-1 in state tournament games. Now that's when, those are nut cutting games, guys. Those are white knucklers. Those are fights, and these kids play great in big games. So I'm very proud of all of them.
Coach, with a game like this against Tucker, familiar opponent, a lot of mutual respect with
Yes.
both programs, fans especially getting
Yeah.
into the game.
Yes.
A lot, the energy gets high.
Yeah.
Preparing for this game physically is one thing, but on the mental side,
Yeah.
is that almost just as important, like preparing your emotions for this game?
Absolutely. I don't know if you all know it, but we had a water line break at our hotel room about 30 minutes before we're getting ready to come. And it brought, we put 4 kids in a room up at the embassy, and what it was, a water line broke, and it set off the sprinkler system. So it drowned Cam, who's else in
Preston,
your room?
Coach.
Aiden, Jason.
Cam, Aiden, Jason, and Preston. There, and what come out of that water line was nothing but black. So we had to take those uniforms and get them clean. But it also leads to the answer of your question. Here we are. Roadblocks, stumbling blocks. We've had to overcome so many. These kids are so mentally tough. Chokes me up. But that again, just another stumbling block. We see the goal. The prize is Saturday. We're there. We get a chance to do that. Like I said, only 5 teams have done it. Did I tell you who has done it? Do you know who? Do you have any clue who the 5 teams are? Norfolk in the 70s, 72 through 79. Russell Todd, the great Norfolk teams. In the early 80s, Herbie Brooks. Don Knuckles was the coach. They beat a Lenore team that is a consolidation of Tug Valley. I'll give you a little stat here. In 2004, Wheeling Central won 4 straight. Mel Stevens is sitting up here licking his chops, hoping he can get another one. But I give just a little stat on that one right there. From 1989 to 2005, I think, only one team in the state of West Virginia one public school in the state of West Virginia won a state championship. Coach, do you know who that would be? Who would that be, honey? Williamson in 2001. In 2000, when did O.J. Mayo and Patrick Patterson play? What year was that? 10, 11? 5, 6, 7. They're NBA players. And then you got Dave Tallman's boy from Morgantown here just a few years ago when it went 4A. I don't know, or 18, 19, 20. I'm a little lost on those numbers, but he's won 3 straight. So to win 3 straight championships for our community, for our kids, it would be a tremendous, accomplishment. Lord willing, hopefully we can get this thing done.
Coach, the end of the first half, you helped the ball about a minute.
Yes.
Braden, driving in,
God,
takes it to 80.
Yes.
How big was that?
Yeah. Oh, it was huge. What 20? It was 23-20. We started to go 1-4 low to Carson. And I said, Braden, you do what you want to do. I let him. Carson. He let him do it. But Braden made a great read on that play, and he kicks it over there to Zaid, and Zaid hits that 3 right there, and all of a sudden, instead of, 24? 20, it goes to 27. And, we're feeling real good going into halftime.
Cam, let's talk a little bit. You're one of the players affected by the sprinkler system. How were you able to mentally prepare, to come back out? Because I think that happened around 9 o'clock this morning, if I heard right.
Yeah, mentally, it was a mess this morning. I was tore up. I was all over the place because at first I thought my ball shoes were wet, so I'm thinking I can't play. My jersey's wet. I can't play. I can't do nothing. So I was a little tore up. But I remember once I got my ball shoes and everything, I was ready to go. And then I just look at what I got. It's just clothes. It's just things that could be replaced. And there's people that don't have anything out on the streets. And I needed to humble myself, and I was just thankful for what I had, and I was able to get through today. And I'm thankful to my teammates because I had to borrow a shooting shirt and everything like that. And I'm just thankful for everything, and I'm glad that I was able to play today.
Zaid, this will be your first state championship experience. So how does it feel to make it that far?
It's exciting. I ain't never played at that kind of stage before, but I think we're ready. I know we're ready, actually, so I'm just ready to get out there and play.
You guys were here watching Tucker and St. Joe the other day when Tucker upset them. Some of the Tucker students were chanting, "We want Tug." Any of you players, you guys hear that?
We didn't. But I think Cam did.
Yeah, we heard it.
Hear that?
Yeah, they made a mistake.
They got Tug.
Yeah, they definitely got Tug.
How big were the emotions for you guys knowing you're going to play Tucker County coming into today, and how did you have to rein in those emotions, or do you just let them kind of flow and let that carry you through the game?
Well, every game, I mean, we always have a saying. We just say, just go hoop. And I think if we just go hoop, I think we're the best team in the state. If we play our game, I think nobody can stop us. And we just got to stay confident with that.
Coach, do you feel like you have to rein in those emotions, or do you like
No, they know what they're doing, honey. You know, let me tell you, I could put everybody in this room in here and sit down there in that third seat where I sit and just let these guys go, and they'd be successful. I mean, you know, it ain't hard what I do. You know, they just go play. They're very smart. They got a high basketball IQ. They've got a tremendous will to win. You know, my part is just stay out of the way and don't be stupid.
Coach, just want to talk. Bryson Eli with 5 block shots today.
Oh, yes.
One leg. Just talk a bit
Yeah.
about it.
You know, again, we wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for Bryson about 3 years ago, you know, stealing that ball against Tucker County and hitting probably the biggest shot of his life. You know, hopefully it happens again tomorrow. But he is so smart. You know, high basketball IQ. Every decision he makes is the right read. You know, he doesn't force passes. 5 blocks, I didn't know that. How many did he get today? 5, 7? I bet he got 7.
We got 5 today.
Got 5. Now, Bryson might not score, you know, a lot of points, but what he does do is he gives us extra possessions by rebounding, by getting stops, playing bigger people in the post, smart reads, good reads. So, you know, he's just so valuable to Tuck Valley.
how much does it mean to get a win against a rival in the state semifinal?
Well, y'all want to answer? Go ahead, Zay. Speak up.
How much? What was the question?
How much does it mean to get a win in the state semifinals over a rival like a team that's become a rival?
It means a lot. I mean, you gotta win that game first, and we all knew that. Nobody in here was looking ahead. We all was thinking Tucker County, and we wanted that game. We was glad they won. We wanted that rematch. So, I just think we're ready for tomorrow or Saturday.
Yeah, you know, like I said, we've battled Tucker so many times. You know, like I said, and they'll be back next year. I know. You know, Coach Helmick does a tremendous job with those kids. I hate it for the, you know, I hate walking through the line being victorious sometimes because you got to see the other kids and they're already, you know, tore up. And I feel for that. You know, I feel for that community up there. But
Coach, you like having an off day before the championship? Or
No.
Would you rather just go ahead and play?
Yes.
It used to be in the.
Yes. Yeah. Too much thinking. Well, at least I do. You know, too much thinking. Wish we could play, but it is what it is. I think next year, I don't know. Who knows? But you know, I tell you what it was. You know, I know Braden. These guys are tired. So maybe, you know, the positive is maybe, you know, we can get off our feet a little bit for a day. You know, that might help us. You know, because, you know, we're going to have to be able to run against either Greater Beckley or battle that big old boy from East Hardy, you know, defend 3. So, you know, hopefully that'll help us.
Any further questions? All right, thank you all very much. Congratulations.